Mm. Hello, is anybody there?
I don't know if so they're gonna ask for public comment. Okay. You'll be there. But no, she'll call you. Okay, we'll talk about it.
Well, yeah.
Is there a video? What? Video now?
They don't want to do that.
Oh, oh, she wants to talk about that when it comes out under hats. That's
Oh, okay, so she just wanted a 3 minute. Discuss.
that new business. Certain rules. But that one is for. I took yesterday out. Just in case, if you're gonna bring it up. So it's important.
You got 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Manage your life. The board meeting is good.
Everybody on there, Steve.
Yeah, we got David, David's on.
But I was good. I was good.
Okay.
So David, Dennis.
David Dennis on, yeah.
The microphones aren't on, so you gotta. Oh, you're on.
Welcome, everyone. I'd like to open up the board meeting for MLCC. We have Dave Stanley and Dennis Perry on Zoom, and the rest of the board is present.
Hang on.
You don't need to slide on the body, right?
Yeah. No, we do not. I think
You were reverbing.
Yeah, I guess we could. I think you just. Oh, okay. Go ahead and speak again, see what happens.
Okay. Is it still reverberating?
No, I.
We're good?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, would you like to join me with the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, next we will have the approval of board meeting minutes. Dennis, would you like to make the motion of that?
I think you muted him.
Did you? Is it muted?
Well, I think it's on through the TV and the volume. I think we have the volume through the TV.
In the TV, that's not through the outfits. Yeah.
Do you have audio for me?
We do.
You're good. You're good, David.
You're
Okay.
good. Trying to get Dennis.
Yeah, he was on.
I'm right.
There he is.
I'm right here. I got dropped and I just added back in, so.
Okay, Dennis,
If
would you
you can-
like to? Would you like to make the motion for the approval of the minutes?
Sure, I don't have any paperwork in front of me, however.
Go ahead. and take a vote.
Okay, so I would like to make a motion for the approval of the board minutes for the Board of Directors session minutes, July 29th, 2023, and the Board of Directors executive session, August 22nd, 2023.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
nays? Motion passed. So next we have the Board of Directors of Mission Lakes Country Club hereby authorizes Girlneck and Gillian LLP as our attorneys and agent to execute, record, and assessment lien and invoice the association for the recording and mailing costs against APN 661-202-025, APN 661-092-003, 661-073-019, 661-260-004, 661-202-020, 661-271-005, 661-082-007, 661-122-010. Any motion on it?
Wait.
Someone would like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
To so by approve as stated there.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any nays? Motion carried. On August 22nd, 2023, at a special executive session of the board approved the completion of foreclosure trustee sale on these delinquent accounts. APN 661-142-013 and APN 661-141-005.
That's it.
Okay, so we're moving along to member comments. I have a couple here. I have a John Pena.
Thank you, Madam President and board members. Good afternoon. My name is John Pena. I'm actually here on behalf of my mother-in-law, Peggy Burrows, and her daughter, Sherry, is with us. She's had some health issues. She's lived here for about 40 years and recently had some health issues. So we received this notice of violation on the palm trees, which we are taking care of today, and they should be completed today. We received this first notice on July 24th. So that is being taken care of, and we don't have any problem with that. She's done that on a regular basis since she's lived here. The question that we had, though, is that they are supposed to be trimmed by July 1st. And we were wondering, I know that I've been here my whole life, and I have family that both in landscaping and business. And they usually would trim palm trees anywhere between June and September. I don't know if there's a reason for having it completed by July 1st or not. Because sometimes if you trim the palm trees too early, you can actually harm the palm tree, depending on what kind it is. So that was the question that we had, not anything in the manner of trimming palm trees. We certainly understand that, but just the timing of the trimming.
Yeah, I think just some background.
Mhm.
The reason for sort of the very heavy-handed policy on the palm trees is we had a palm tree struck by lightning and burning palm fronds went into 3 yards next to 3 houses. And surprisingly, fire department showed up in about 4 minutes and put them all out. I mean, you know how response can be at different Mission Lakes. I mean, it could have been 2 hours. And that kind of that elevated a response by that board, you know, and I can certainly understand it because I remember that night and it was kind of scary. And so, I mean, I'm getting a lot of feedback that we're doing it wrong and that there's different types of trees, and I plead ignorance on that. So, you know, maybe it is worthwhile doing a little bit of investigation and maybe treating different palm trees differently. You know, the small decorative palms, maybe not as hardcore as the ones with big,
Right.
giant, dead fronds that we're worried about getting hit with lightning. Obviously, the time when that happens, where we get dry lightning, is late July, August, when the monsoons come in.
Exactly. And we certainly understand the health and safety part of that, and we certainly are complying with that too, so they're actually being trimmed today, so. But she is, you know, in the hospital and not able to be here, so. Anyway, we just were wondering on the timing, I think you answered that question, and.
You know, there is a second issue that's presented itself in the past that has something to do with the timing too, and that's any of the members that have swimming pools have had a lot of trouble with the seed distribution through the air and going in the pool and plugging the filters. And so some of the timing was, I think at one point in time, there was some discussion for the people that own swimming pools.
Thank you, David.
Thank
you
you.
very
My
much
wife
for your
just reminded me, of course, I missed something, and that's the skinning of the palm tree too, which is being done. And I think sometimes that, you know, you see those spread out, especially after the storm we just had.
Right.
And those spread everywhere. So thank you very much.
Thank you. The next one we have is Sandra.
I think I can do this here. I just wanted to give a great shout out to Eric Charles. After, besides all the wonderful things he's been doing for our club, which I think we can say, we had a member communication committee meeting Thursday last week, and I left in my golf cart, or tried to leave in my golf cart, and it was dead, flat out, totally, completely dead. And Eric, who was busy setting up a meeting for the next room that was supposed to come in, etc., told me all the way home, made sure I was home and okay and such, and I thought that was really above and beyond. Those of you who are on the Facebook, private Facebook, which I encourage you to be, would have seen that I thanked him there, but I know Eric doesn't do that. So thank you very much. And you really have a great manager here.
Thank you, Sandra, and
Thank you.
thank you, Eric. Okay, the next is the general manager's report.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much. Well, we're going to start off with, I got to tell you, with over 3 inches of rain, Mission Lakes took it pretty well. I don't know about personal homeowners, but for the most part, I got to give total kudos and total props to our golf course maintenance, getting this golf course back in action. If it was anywhere else, I think we would have been down for a week or two, but he did a great job getting that going again, and I think people are happy being out there again. But all in all, we did have a leak in hotel room number 1, and they cleaned that up, but we're drying it out and getting that situated, so that'll be closed for a little bit. I guess it happened before when there's heavy rains in there. Just the way the roof is, it doesn't quite get to the drainage. So anyways, Victor filled me in on that. So anyways, for the most part, all in all, I think we did pretty well through this storm. For the general manager's report, I'm going to start off with the financial overview. The month of July was another positive financial month for the club. Net profit for the month was $19,503, better than budget. Expenses were below budget by $15,600. And for revenue, we were better than budget by $3,000, close to $4,000. Food and beverage for the month was $5,325 better than budget. Golf shop was $276 better than budget. General administration, we were over budget by $1,923. Golf course maintenance better than budget by $3,603. The clubhouse, $11,304 better than budget. Mission Lakes Inn, we were under our revenue by far, but over budget by $1,472. Pool and rec was better than budget by $2,390. For the reserves for the month of July, we spent $35,100, and at the end of the month, we had a balance of $3,007,678 in our reserves. So a pretty good financial.
Yeah.
Food and beverage happenings, okay, for September is a big month to finish up your food minimums. So please make your reservations. For those that don't, please be patient with us. That's what we ran into last year. We'd get a bunch of reservations and then another 50 to 60 people come in. But please be patient. So here's what we got going on in September. September 4th, Labor Day barbecue up here from 12 to 4 p.m. Hot dogs, hamburgers, all that fun stuff up here. 2 Sunday brunches are scheduled, September 10th and 24th. Theme nights every Thursday, and starting on September 7th, we have country night. We have a live band group, and it's called Groovy Night on September 14th. September 7th and 21st is bingo night. September 29th is karaoke night. And September 30th will be the last day of service for the dining room and grill. Dining room will be still like, or the lounge and bar will be open on Monday nights for Monday Night Football, but other than that, it'll be closed upstairs. And once the grill is cleaned, this is the month where we get all the vents and everything cleaned out. We're gonna try to open that mid-October and get that open as soon as possible. So the grill should be open from mid-October on. Okay. And that's our food and beverage happenings for the month. I always have a little section here on my agenda here of others. Rumors running around, we no longer have a union for our golf course maintenance. Untrue. We still have a union here. A couple years back, they did a union payout plan for their pension plan, and that should save us major money going down the road. But we do have a union here, and it's with the golf course maintenance only. ADA restroom. I think I said this last month. We are in the final stage. We truly are done. But Ledesma, our contractor, said they're waiting on a sign off from the county environmental department as well as wastewater management. They don't have to come out here to inspect. They said they just need them to sign off. So they are working on that. That should have been done last week, the week before, but that's all we're waiting on to get this project finalized. So I am putting a lot of pressure on them. I know they're putting pressure on them as well, but we will have our final inspection here in the hopefully next week. Okay. And the last thing on my agenda here is our comment cards, a lot of positives this month. Keep the Parmesan cheese potato wedges on the menu. Great service, wonderful people, food and flavor. Good food and flavor will be back. Good food, excellent service, everything wonderful, thank you. I want to give Jacob high praise for the excellent bar service. He is so fast, and our bar staff is the best in ages. David is excellent, Jaleesa is a jewel. Hank is great, and high praises to all. I want to commend Luz for the fantastic job she did for the Carney 60th party. The decorations and tables were beautiful, as well as the small stuff. She accommodated this big group to perfection. Romo food was excellent. I want to give a big shout out to Caesar, who works on the pool area. He did a great job when we had the bug infestation. He cleaned and worked hard all day to clean that up and get the pool open and the pool cleaner than it was that morning. Wonderful 60th anniversary party for the Carneys. Luz did an outstanding job, and the ballroom decoration was great. After coming here for a few years, by far this was the best food service that I've had. We have been members here since 2001, greatest staff and restaurant. Elmer is a great waiter, and the meal was wonderful. Hank and David provide great service. Please bring back happy hour food. And then my final comment card just came in yesterday. I would like to suggest putting lights on the putting green. This can encourage evening social times, and we could do maybe a putting league, especially during winter when it gets dark earlier. Other than that is the GM's report for the.
Perfect, thank you, Eric. Okay, moving
Can I,
forward.
Susan, can I interrupt real quick? I've had a report that we are not broadcasting on Facebook. Could we?
We're working on that.
Oh, we are? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Keep
Okay,
going.
thank you.
we're trying to get that fixed, Dave. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to committee reports. Architectural Control Committee.
We were
Ryan?
not able to meet this month because the club was closed, so we don't have a report this month. We are meeting next week, so we will have one for you next month.
Thank you. Condominium Association, do we have Mike Livingston?
He was here, but he left.
Oh. Mike is here. He was on property, but I think he had to run to the condos again. Mike did have some good report. He did get approval from the sheriff's department to use their office down by the pool down there as a substation. So starting September 1st, they're gonna come in, the condo association put a couple new desks and things in there. I said I would provide a refrigerator or a small refrigerator, microwave and things in there, but he's proud to say that the sheriff's department said they will start using it after September 1st. So they're gonna put a key lock on it for the sheriff's department so they can come in. I guess they're gonna meet just after the holidays, so that's a positive from the condo association. And if Mike does show up, I'll have him speak when he comes in, but he did leave me a text.
Okay, thank you so much. That's great news. We've been working on getting that
Yeah.
going for a while. Finance and Credit Committee, Steve?
All right, we had we met to review the July financials. And, you know, as Eric did the run over, I mean, finances are looking really well right now as we head into to budget talks. We have scheduled probably in the newsletter article for the coming month. I'll highlight what the dates are. We calendar in, I believe, 5 dates for all-day budget meetings. Of course, those are open to the membership. They are long and boring as we go through 7,500 line items and construct the budget, but you're certainly welcome to attend that as we try to, maintain transparency on that. I'd like to make a motion to approve checks over $1,000 from operations for July 2023.
I'll
Sure.
second.
Second, is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'd like to make a motion to approve checks over $1,000 from reserve accounts for July 2023.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carried. Okay, Green Committee.
And then, hold on, and I'd like to make a motion to approve the financing credit report for July 2023.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any nays? Motion carried, and I'm sorry I skipped over Golf Committee. Jaime?
Okay, so I'm gonna apologize up front because I have a lot to read here because my good friend Sheila has overloaded me with Sheila Trouble Daily is what thank you. I like to refer to her as Sheila. She's my good friend. Thank you. All right, so her golf report is just a reminder that the SOS Ride Tournament is September 9th. And that's a Saturday. This will be a shotgun start at 7:30 a.m. Please sign up on Chelsea no later than September 6th. And this is a make your own foursome event. Each foursome will have a Marine in their group. The format is a modified schedule. Awards will follow in the clubhouse. Cost is $40 per person. We still need membership support to sponsor a Marine. Please deposit a check in the golf shop. The cost is $65, checks or cash. If you write a check, please make it out to MLCC. If you wish to donate to the SOS Ride, make that check out to SOS Ride. You may also deposit these checks in the golf shop. This is our last tournament of the season. The MGA and WGA invite all members with a legitimate handicap to participate. If you wish to just sponsor Marine and not play golf, you may attend the luncheon following the tournament at no cost. Please sign up at the golf shop for lunch only. The golf committee will be reviewing in September our scorecards, especially the assigned handicaps for the orange tees and reviewing the green orange tee assigned handicaps. We all look forward to our first tournament of the season in November. Our memorial tournament is scheduled for November 18th. More information will be made available in October. Signed, Julian and Sheila. Now, she sent me this other thing that she wanted me to read. And this is for the Loving All Animals. So Loving All Animals is requesting to hold a golf tournament here December 1st with a 7:30 shotgun. The theme for this event is spaghetti and no balls. So to give you a frame of reference, currently in Riverside County and since January 2023, 64% of puppies and kittens are being euthanized. This is due to animals not being spayed. The purpose of this event is to raise money for spay and neuter clinics throughout the valley. Pam Weekly and Sheila Daly, both members here at MLCC, sit on this board. There will be raffles, silent auction, and lunch for the golfers. Members here are encouraged to play in this tournament. The estimated revenue for this event is about $8,000 between F&B and the golf shop. Some local celebrities will be in attendance too, including local TV news people. The golf committee supports this event and hopes that this board will do likewise. Loving All Animals would like to make this a yearly event. If any of you saw an article recently which publicized the top 7 golf courses to play in the desert, MLCC was named. So the golf committee is asking you to approve this event. We hope to schedule a better date in subsequent years, and at this point, this date is the only option. The course will be open to members on that Friday at 12:30. The committee chairs have met with F&B, our general manager, and our head golf pro. We feel that the publicity alone will help our revenue stream, and that out-of-towners will come back and enjoy what we have here at MLCC. A bit about Loving Animals. All right. So Loving All Animals was incorporated at the end of 2008 to fill a void in the animal welfare community within the Coachella Valley. The agency sought to be the conduit for the welfare of the valley's animals. Lindy Beege, a founder of Loving All Animals, believed that if all the shelters and rescue organizations could work cooperatively, the animals would be the ultimate beneficiary. Yeah, I think that's that. Yeah. All right. Thank you. That's our report.
Okay, and I know that, thank you very much, Jaime. I know that Shelley would like the board to move to approve the golf tournament on December
1st, that's correct.
Okay.
So I would like to make a motion to the board to approve the golf tournament for Loving All Animals, or Loving All Animals on December 1st.
I second that motion.
Okay.
Is there any discussion?
Yeah, one question. I believe you said it was a 7:30 shotgun.
That's correct.
It's got 8 o'clock here.
It's about 8 o'clock. It's full out.
So is it 8 or 7:30?
So in what she sent me is 7:30, David, do you know?
So it's gonna be cold. That being said, it's also the horse race for the member. And so 8 o'clock would be fine. She told me 75 players. 8 o'clock would be fine. They're gonna be done by 12:30. We're gonna have our horse race. I think it's at 2 o'clock. It should be fine.
What about a frost delay?
We have frost delays and it hurts all, right?
So that would be a case where we'd probably just push back, right? Push them back because
then the horse race, the men's member horse race would get.
So is there going to be a 12:30 shotgun that day for the members?
No,
Okay, because that's what she said in her letter.
there will not, because we have the horse race, member horse race.
Okay.
That's a Friday, correct?
Yeah, it's a Friday.
Yes.
Thank you.
When I talked to Shelley, she had it pretty down how everything was gonna work, and I know it's cutting close because in December, you never know what the weather's gonna be.
Right.
But she's pretty hopeful that this is such a really, really good group, and they hope to be able to do this every year. So if they do bring in $8,000 or even close to that for the club, it's a really good, it would be a really good.
Yeah.
And then with the
So-
repeat customers for people that come out here for the first time. they want to have-
Right,
Absolutely.
yeah, so, okay, so is there any more discussion? Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, motion carried. Okay, and now we have Greens Committee. Steve?
Jack Peterson's gonna do the report.
Hi, Jack.
Hi. We didn't meet in August, but I got a few things I'd like to go over just to tell everybody membership and stuff. A little update on the Bermuda recovery that's going on. I personally got to play Friday and Saturday. I had marked spots on certain fairways where last year we had our bare spots. Those are filled in. That's one of the things Raphael said he expected bare spots would move. They moved from fairway because he's working on those good up to the surrounds and the greens, as most people can see. That's expected to move like that, not necessarily to the green or to the tee, but to move. So the expectation is, as this goes along, we will see more vining in those areas. If you look, you can see actually the vining starting to take off, which is very good. Again, from a personal standpoint, it looks better than last year at this time. We did have nice weather this fall or spring, but I think it is moving along. Remember that it's a 3-year plan. Next year kind of is that final year to see if this is going to give us the community we're looking for. Next thing is I'm going to echo Eric's thing about the storm. I was not here, but I saw pictures on a regular basis, both from my neighbors for the house, which was nice of them, and people around the neighborhood that went around. We've been here since '84. This is the least damage I've seen for that amount of water in that amount of time. I've seen less water with more damage. So we were very lucky, which is good. Kudos to the crew because it looks like the back nine's good. I would like to state that I see 10 as a focal point of what has been done good is where we put in all that concrete berm and we're building up the back of 10. It looked like from the pictures that I saw, the flow is then pushed against the mountain. The mountain will allow it to channel instead of go back over 10. So what we should have seen and looked like from the pictures is it came off and down the road instead of off and out into 13 as much. So that's a pretty good thing. So that's, pretty nice. Last thing, which is a little long, but I want to talk a bit about the Green Committee's focus on the last 3 or 4 boards have asked us on the Green Committee when I wasn't chair, but when I was a member and now I'm chair, about looking to improve the golf course in money saving areas where it enhances the true golf course. I don't want to say about cart paths or this, that, or the other thing, but things that actually save us capital and improve our golf course for going forward. So one of them is trees. And I know it's a touchy subject. I don't want to start an argument on trees. I love trees. I'm a tree hugger too. But I'll give you a little bit of data. And the reason we're talking about it, what we see as benefits is less water use. And I've got some examples of that. Enhanced Bermuda recovery growth. Where the trees are, if you take 9 and 1 into consideration, all those trees down the middle and between those 2 holes, that puts shade. The Bermuda cannot grow in there as well. Now we cleaned them out and it's helping, but that's part of things that we see enhancing. Also, a reallocation of GCM staff. GCM staff has to deal with the trees. Every tree that we don't have is less they have to do on a tree and maybe can move to more enhancing of the greens or enhancing of the course rather than picking up pine cones and things of that nature. So I'll give you a little background. Is we got roughly 770 trees on 140 of playable acres. And we actually had a member that went and counted them. He had 775, but I think we lost a tree or 2 or, who knows? So I went for 100 or 770 plus and 140 usable acres. We have 100, close to 150. But if you think back to the Wash at 13 and other places that aren't part of the course, I didn't count that. That's 6 trees per acre, roughly, which is, if you're in the forest, not that many. If you're in a golf course, you're getting up there. That's an acre is 43,000 roughly square feet. That's one tree every 7,000 square feet. So if you think about it, that's on the block, that's a tree every other house. So quite a few, just a little background. I'll give you an idea what the trees are. I grouped them roughly in the big ones that we have. So pine trees, palm trees, olive trees, and eucalyptus trees. I went online, talked to the water agency and did a little research. A pine tree uses roughly 120 to 150 gallons a day is its capacity. Is its capacity. It's 10 gallons a day for every inch of trunk diameter. So I just used a rough math of 12 to 24 inch diameter and came up with that amount. So keep that in mind, 120 to 150. Palm trees, they don't use as much because of the root system. They're around 7 gallons a day, but they will continue to suck if water is there. So as we water, if we overwater, which you can't really stop a tree from roots and stuff, they will use more water, but 7 is about the midpoint. Olive trees are about 21. And eucalyptus trees, which are the worst for a golf course, not only to our superintendent's idea, but if you just read the brochures on it, about 105 gallons a day. So I wanted to just kind of give you an idea. If we take that 770, it's roughly 1% is 7.7 trees. So I broke it down to 75% of the palm trees, just to give us an idea. That's 577 trees. That's 77,000 gallons of water per day. One tree, not one tree, but one set of trees. The other 25, the other 3 trees I just grouped together because I don't have a true number of olives and that kind of stuff. But they roughly take, that's 173 trees, they roughly take 10,000 gallons a day. So that's 87,000 gallons a day of tree water. And the trees will suck the water faster than our lawn. Now, a lawn takes a lot of water too, but we need the grass to play golf. We need trees too. So what I'm getting at is, we'll have these when we come to ask for approval with a little more math behind it. So we actually can see the savings and what it is. So everyone can see that if you think around 87,000 gallons a day for your house, you'd be around $6,000 to $9,000 a day would be your spend. Here, it's a little more because we have to replenish our aquifers too. So our plan at the Greens Committee level is a 3-year plan, 25 trees a year, targeting old and dead trees, which we have some, so those should be easy. Pepper trees, which don't really belong on a golf course and are not in good spots anyway, plus they're getting old and falling. Areas where we can open up the trees for grass growing. Those are roughly the areas. And one thing we're pledging, and we'll put down, is any active nests, those trees will not be taken down. So even though you think of eucalyptus on 16, I don't know if you've been around there, there's a nice ox nest there. It's been there for its 3rd year now. And I think it's the siblings from the old nest over there. That would not be taken down. It's an active nest. So if we see active nests, we're not going to target those. But the staff and the golf shop will be the ones to go out, tag the trees so you can see where they are. And the idea is save a little money, save a little time, give us some more area, and make the course a little more playable. So that's kind of our idea. I know it was mentioned last month when I wasn't here, so I thought I'd bring it up.
Thank you, Jack.
So Jack, hold on, you said 25 trees a year.
Yeah.
For a total of how many trees are we looking at?
75. But we'd be down to 700.
Okay.
If we didn't lose any 10%.
Yeah. Okay.
And
The ones that have been donated in honor of, for whatever reason, you're not gonna touch those?
we know of a few of them. We haven't talked about that. There's one tree actually donated from 13, from the Lions, wife of Jack Lyons. We are gonna take that one out when the house sells. The neighbor next to him has a pool right behind that fence that was put there, and it's a Palo Verde, and it just blows everything in there. But our idea is to, if people know of a tree that's a memorial and it's not a dead tree, it's not one that we have to go after.
Okay. Thank you. Let's see. And then the next one we have is House Committee, Dave.
Yeah, quickly, the House Committee is still actively working on facilitating paint and carpet in some of the rooms in the clubhouse, including some of the offices. They're also working on some of the old business, but nothing earth-shaking and new.
Great, thank you.
So one of the things I'd like to add to that, just I'm meeting with Jenny and their committee, is one of the things in this room is, you know, when we had this painted, basically, they wanted to keep the ceilings white, to take your eyes off of the ceiling or not looking up. House Committee is looking to paint the beams again brown, and also the baseboard. So that's something we're gonna be looking at come October, is painting.
Why?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll take it back to the committee. But I do want to share this light. This is a light they wanted to put up for people to look at. So these are some of the things they're trying to make changes to some of the old lighting fixtures, but anyway, so I thought I'd put it up here for the board meeting and get the lights going, so.
Okay, I have one question. So they want to paint those brown again, so it matches.
The doors.
The doors. No, I get it.
The baseboard and.
Yeah.
You know, if I could add, these are always suggestions by the House Committee, and the board always has the final word on that, so.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks, Eric, for adding that.
I like the light.
Okay, the next committee is member communications.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve a new committee member, Helen Ann Jones.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye. And to give the report for the member communication, Sandra Rodriguez.
By the way, Helen did come to our last meeting last week, and she's a very enthusiastic person. She comes up to us from the condo area, which is another point of view as well, and we kind of like that also. Couple of quick things. We've had several nice events here lately. We need those pictures on the events on the website to promote what we do, so that we get maybe more events, which is the money that we need to have to keep this place going. There's been a wedding, there's been the anniversary party, there's been the Rotary. There's been MSW Mission Springs Water District. If we're putting events on the website, saying we do events, we ought to advertise them in some positive way. And if you had said that Lou's had done a really good job with this last one, we ought to see that. We ought to see that anyway, but apart from that. Secondly, we did do a survey in this last newsletter, the August newsletter, a survey about how many people attend the meeting in person, attended via Facebook, attended by the recording. Aaron's not here today, so I don't have the final count. The count a few days ago, which is why we put it out again, and here's the other point. 100 people responded. How many people live here? 100 people responded, and it was roughly a 50-50 split. It's why we put it out a second time, and that's the intro for what are we all doing here anyway, the membership. We're trying to get the membership more involved, not just in golf, which you guys are doing a great job, but we're not all golfers. And you don't golf all the time, you do other things as well. Karaoke night, I saw the pictures on Facebook. Sue, I saw you singing and such. So we have a lot of that. The newsletter itself. They sent out 1,407 newsletters. Of the 1,407, 702 of those emails were opened. The rest were passed by. 107 of them bounced. Mari went to a great deal of trouble to get the emails correct. I know that Eric is now working again with the office to get the emails updated on a more timely basis. People who look at them on your desktop, 88.8% who did open them on a desktop. About 17% opened them on a mobile phone. They are hard to read on a phone. I do understand that. However, the rest were not even. The email was open. The vote didn't happen, on the survey. And they didn't even open or click into the newsletter. I don't know how many people read it, but I wanted to mention it because everybody who's come up here to talk takes their time, as well as in the board, takes their time to write a report, to give me information. So nobody has an excuse to say they don't know.
Are the emails the same, the 700 for the newsletter, the same emails that go out for the
Correct.
exact same?
Yes, it's the same database as Mari made it all work together.
So it's all, so if the survey is on constant contact, you'd be able to see how many people received it.
Yes.
How many voted? Does
Yeah.
that keep track of
Yes.
the voting?
It keeps track of the voting.
And can a person vote more than once?
They can vote more than once, but you run the report, which Erin does, and she takes out the duplicates. She takes out the duplicates. So we have a very good number of them. We have 107 that bounced. The other part of that issue is new members. We've talked about in our meeting, and I put together, and several of the board members have it, an action plan of all the different things we could kind of come up with in our last meeting to involve people more. Walt was at the meeting as well. So, more and more of what we're trying to do is we don't officially have them as a member until the new owner comes up to the office and shows their grant deed. Those of you who've been here since 1984, whatever, may not remember that process, but you come up and you show the grant deed and you sign up. And that's when we get their email address. So we are talking about seeing if we can get their email address upon close of escrow so that we can start touching, how you get people in marketing, you touch as soon as you can touch. Yeah.
You have the deed inside a family trust. If you take it out, then I have to pay probate tax on it. So my attorney said that show you the trust. Is that good enough?
No, they need a virtual, and that's not true. Actually, that's not true. You and I can talk about that later. That's incorrect.
They paid $600 an hour for that question.
Mine's in a trust. I got a copy of the grant deed with the red stamp on it from the Riverside County office and showed it to them. That's all that's necessary. That's all you need. I think it's $7 for the deed. I have to have mine redone because they spelled my name wrong, but that's another issue. We talked about different kinds of ways to reach out to people. How soon can we reach out to them? I gave an action list of about 10 or 12 things that we had talked about reaching out upon becoming a member. Some people don't come in for months. Erin mentioned one that hasn't come in for a year yet, which means they're not golfing or using any of the amenities. But it also means they're not getting the information. They're not getting the menus. They're not getting announcements of like this Labor Day barbecue, which is going to come out later today. All those kinds of things. So we're looking for ways to touch sooner and touch more directly. You guys come to the meetings. I recognize faces. There are certain faces I know. The ones that are in the karaoke picture, the ones that are in the bingo picture, those kinds of things, and the ones who come to the board meeting. And that's pretty much it. Even on Facebook, there are more members, I think, on Nextdoor, which is a whole different issue, I understand. But there are more people, I think, on Nextdoor from the community than there are on Facebook, on our private page. So we're looking to encourage all those kinds of things. Talk to your neighbors. You know your neighbors? That sort of thing. Pretty much that's it. Sam and Eric and such have been looking at the list. Susan, I think you have the list also. And we're looking to see how we can improve interaction among and between our community members. Thank you.
Good comment. I think the newsletter is great. One of the best you've had as far as. Going through the pages, yeah, a lot of them.
There's a lot of work. And Erin does the pulling it together and she's found programs that make it work and flip the pages and all those kinds of things. You guys who are chair people, you write the reports, I edit, if I do. And I don't change anything on the editing. I just fix grammar and all that kind of stuff.
Good job. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra.
Thanks.
The next committee is COPS. Dennis, do we have a report?
I didn't hear from Larry, and then we didn't have a report or a meeting this month, so.
And then following is.
I was gonna say, I can give a report.
I beg your pardon. I was on mute here. No, we do not have a meeting this month or a report.
Thank you, Dennis. Pool and Rec. Eddie, we have a report.
I'm present.
Before we go to your report, I'd like to make a motion to approve the new member, Karen Pike.
Yes.
And actually, she was on the committee last year as well.
Needs to be this year.
We have a motion and a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carried. Okay, all right, Eddie, now we're ready.
All right. So thank you, because she's one of those that's gonna help with the next topic I'm gonna talk about for pool and rec. And that is that during our August meeting, we have Miss Sonia Reed, who is representative of the Diamond Bar Women's Club and is a member here at Mission Lakes. And also the chairperson for Making Spirits Bright. Making Spirits Bright was instrumental last year in a successful program for the 29 Palms Marine Base. And how this is that the Marine Base provides family names for our Christmas program. And what's so interesting here is that 40% of the service members at that base would qualify for public assistance. So it's important that we have a volunteer force that can help with some of these Christmas programs. And she'll provide us within the next few weeks with a wish list. And Karen was one of those that worked very hard last year with this program. I know she's anxious to get involved with it again. So I'm glad we're going to be able to do that. So how this works is she'll provide us a list, and then we'll see volunteers from our membership that are willing to donate the time to go out and purchase a gift, wrap it, bring it up to the clubhouse for these families. And I think there's a limit that we put on it of $50. And of course, that's again, up to you. It's your discretion, but it's a great program, more to come in the next few weeks. Our craft fair is scheduled for Sunday, November 12th, and we do have someone that's going to manage that program, and that's Miss Annie Hester. And we will be getting out information on that the first week of September, which gives us, full 60 days to get that going, so we'll be okay there. And that's one of our revenue makers, not much. We don't charge much for the table. It's about $30 a table. We can put about 30 to 32 crafters in there, so we make about $900. Not a big deal, but it helps. We've selected flooring for the gym downstairs that we do have our exercise programs on. And we've selected a plank that is a little thicker in size, that has more absorption and will help with the stress from jumping up and down. And I don't know where we're exactly out in that, but Eric.
So we do have the 3 bids, just got them, 3 bids at the finance meeting. So we're hoping to have a special finance meeting, a special board meeting, just so we can get something booked for October.
Okay, thanks. That'll be good. Then we'll be ready for season. And that's about it. We've got a good participation from our members in the classes. And so we're very happy about where everything's going. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Eddie.
You're very welcome.
And the last committee is the future planning. Dave?
Yeah, on behalf of Phil and the members of the Future Planning Committee, update everybody with ongoing discussion. We are still considering and visiting the idea of a ramp down to the pool area. There's been a lot of discussion, and there's several board members that feel like we need to get that chair put back into service, and perhaps there'd be a big money savings. The one thing I would say that the members need to consider is that ramp is going to be used by a lot of people that would never use that chair. And that's people that have disabilities, slight walking disabilities, or just painful walking, that wouldn't want to use the staircase. And that ramp would certainly facilitate getting down to the pool area easier. The other project that we hoped we were going to be able to move forward on and head into the permitting process, provided the board approved it, was the front handicap parking area. We came up with a kind of a design build idea on that, and we gave contractors kind of a basic format We were kind of unhappy with the way they responded to it. It was probably not going to work in this circumstance. We believe that the project needs to be spec'd out very close. We probably need to have some renderings. The board needs to have some input on the look and design out there too. And then we did receive a couple of bids back and they were wildly different. One was at 180,000, one was at 90,000. So we're pulling our horns in a little on that. And we're gonna try and spec that job a little closer and come up with more of a detailed approach to the bidding process. And next month, Phil would like to visit the sewer hookups, and there's going to be some discussion on that. I don't know if he has any guest speakers lined up yet, but there is going to be some discussion on, once again, where we stand with the Corps of Engineers in that project, and that's it for future planning.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Dave. Okay, so moving on, we will go to old business, which is the strategic plan. Eric?
I'll just discuss strategic plan a little bit. Basically, last meeting when we left, I said I would take it to all the committees. I had some personal things that came up at the beginning of the month, so I wasn't able to take it to the first like 3 or 4 meetings. So, and I think I missed the finance committee, but I'd like to revisit this next month.
Okay.
But I did bring it up at the communications committee and they were all for it. So moving in a direction for strategic plans. So.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Now moving on to new business. The discussing of the handicap parking bids for the front of the clubhouse. Dave kind of brought that up and that is an ongoing discussion. The board is involved in taking a look at the bids that we are getting. But we were hoping to be able to move forward and get working on that when the clubhouse closed in the month of October, but looks like it's probably going to be a little bit slower on that unless we can, get some good bids in.
Yeah, it's not that we had bad bids, it's just the 2 main bids we had, the contractors went in different directions, and so you could compare them directly. They were very, very different and included different things. And so you sort of have to do a round 2 to sort of bring them together and make it an apples and apples comparison.
Will the design of the projected parking lot be available to the members before the board makes their decision?
Yeah.
I don't see a problem with that, Maury, be quite honest with you, but as Dave said, the sketch that he basically gave to these contractors,
Came back.
they went in all different directions on it.
No, I understand that. I was just
So,
wondering.
Yeah, once we can tighten this up a little bit, it shouldn't be a problem at all if we have a rendering for everyone to see. In our minds, we know what we'd like to see, but it's getting back to the contract.
Exactly.
So,
Okay, thank you.
And I kind of, I think it's the very, I don't want to be, spending other people's money, but it is the front of our clubhouse. It is something that's really display and it needs to look nice.
Curbside appeal.
Yeah.
Basically, and that was my concern. Don't want to just have a blacktop out there with stalls.
Right.
Needs to be aesthetic, right?
And we sort of envisioned putting in a sidewalk at Augusta and having a straight shot, stairs down and a straight shot into the entryway, and maybe put nice pavers in that and, have a decorative entrance going through the middle, walkway.
Maybe we could take some of Jack's trees.
And they made a meandering path going down. It was completely not what we were talking about. I don't know.
Well, if I can give a little history on that, when I met with the contractor that did that original drawing, that's the same contractor that did the parking lot paving. We had great results with him. He was really good to work with and he had some good ideas. Now we when we walked through that project out there, you know, we were talking dollars and cents and how much money was going to be earmarked and how much money was going to be spent. He kind of worked hard at eliminating a retaining wall out there. That was completely different direction that I had visualized. I wanted a really nice aesthetically appearance with a resort type entrance to the clubhouse when you look down from Augusta. His rendering didn't come out that way, as Steve said. And some of that was his desire to try and bring this in at its preconceived budget. So that rendering is what went out to the contractors, and I'm not certain that should have. I wasn't involved in that, but it's kind of a moot point because we had very little responses back so far from contractors. So I think when we get a good rendering, I think when the board is happy with the look and the membership, and maybe this would be a great opportunity to get it on communications and out there and have the membership look at it and maybe weigh in on if they like the look from Augusta before we move forward.
Yeah, I think when people hear parking lot, they're thinking we're taking up 2/3 of that space out there, and it's much simpler than that. And it's gonna flow with what we currently have.
Okay, yes,
How many parking spots is the committee proposing to put out there?
I believe there's like 9
handicap spots.
Yeah,
It's not very big.
it's not big. It's not like we're gonna take out the whole front of the building.
I'm just trying to get
It's
a
just-
concept
it's
about the
more of
spots to
a-
kind of help.
The idea really is to move the handicap parking up to the club. So it's a straight across shot and not have, I mean, the handicap parking down in the golf course.
What's right there, isn't it?
Well, there's 2 spaces right there, one more on the hill. It's
So-
still a walk, you know, it's still.
So maybe if you wanted something to visualize, and I'll try and articulate it the best I can, but when you walk out of the clubhouse through the vestibule out there, you would see a crescent shaped, really small parking area that would extrude into that lawn area. So it would just be a little crescent carved out of that lawn area. It would have 7, 8, 9 parking spots. Now the board is considering a plan to dovetail in some more cart parking that would be in addition to that crescent. So it would, as you're facing Augusta, looking out of the clubhouse, the crescent would end, and on the right-hand side going towards our parking lot, there would be 7 or 8 cart parking. Okay, your carts would nose toward Augusta, so there would be little cart parking strips there too. And that's one of the things the board came up with that they thought was pretty feasible and would be super nice for the membership.
Thank you.
And besides handicap parking, I envisioned like a couple of 20-minute spaces so you can pick up to-go orders, drop off stuff in the office, those kinds of things.
And check into the inn, so there's somewhere for people to pull in,
Because we're-
run in and.
For stuff like that, it's, you know, it's kind of a pain to park way down by the golf course, you know, and
People are
especially
parking
people-
right out front in
Yeah.
20 minutes.
Yeah, which is, want to avoid that.
What is the handicap parking requirement for the clubhouse?
I don't know, but my view is I don't care. Because no, get my understand what I'm saying. We exceed the legal requirement. We will have the legal requirement. What I care about is our membership, which has an average age way higher than BOD's. And if you come here during bridge on Monday and Friday during the day, it's sad. I mean, it's what we're putting these people through to get into our clubhouse. And if we really want to get community engagement into our clubhouse, we need to look at who our market is and make it easy for them. And so I think, you know, regardless of what state law is, I think we need 9 extra handicap places out here that they can walk straight across to.
I just
Because
wanted to make
that's
sure.
our membership and
I was
I'm
ma-
quickly coming there.
I didn't mean I wanted less, I just wanted to make sure if we did it, we were in compliance.
Oh, we would be.
Oh, we're,
Because you don't want to come back
Right
and go, no, you need to add 4 more over here. That was my question.
Yeah, I don't think I would
less.
necessarily take away what's in
I think
anywhere else.
those, yeah, I think those are gonna
Yeah.
stay. It's just we would like to add some more.
Yeah, no, I just figured, you want to make sure you're in compliance.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're in compliance right now
If you're
with the handicap parking we have out here. So if we add more.
A lot of older buildings aren't in compliance. That's the reason I asked the question.
Okay, we have one more question in the back.
Yes, on the, you had mentioned steps. But that's not too handicapped, if there's steps on the entrance.
The steps
So
are
that-
The
allowed
steps
to
are gonna
be,
be coming down from the street. The handicap parking is gonna be inside of that.
the steps are allow
Right,
people to
because
come in.
we want people park on both sides of Augusta
People that park on the
and
street.
walk down the
steps are
grass.
coming
We want to make an actual pathway for
I
the
was just
steps. and
visualizing me and my red walker flying down
So
the stairs.
that path, that path.
That won't be
would-
necessary.
would be.
You can do it, it just won't be necessary.
Yeah, that's a separate thing to accommodate people parking on the street, non-handicapped people
So
parking on
two
the street.
entities. And the crescent, is that at this end of it? Of the green belt there, is it that?
It would wrap around our little porte cochere, whatever they call that thing.
Oh,
It would
okay,
wrap around that.
I now have your picture.
Then give the membership a basic idea. We're assuming this thing is gonna come in under 200,000. And to Steve's point, I think we're really giving a lot to the membership with these changes.
Okay. So our next new business item is the board is discussing a disaster plan. Having just gone through Hillary, we have been talking about the fact that there should be something in place for our membership to be able, if we something, an earthquake or anything should happen. So the board is opening discussions on this. We hope to put together some sort of an ad hoc committee eventually. We'd like to get people involved that would like to be a part of this, so that we can. I know, I guess a while ago, years ago, we had a neighborhood watch, but when we brought that up before, it didn't really go over very well. So this would be more of and it would be a disaster plan committee. So that so that we could have an actual plan put together, so everybody would know where they could go to get fresh water, or how we were even talking about seeing if there was people out there that were actually nurses and doctors that would want to maybe put forth their names, so that, because this last time we were, for one full day, there was no way for us out. So we feel that it's time that we look to put something together like that. So that's going to be happening in the future when we kind of get a little bit better
And
what we want to
some
do.
things we didn't experience, but we came very close to, was, there was areas of Desert Hot Springs that were on a boil water. Mission Springs Water District put about 300 customers on a boil water order. And then portions of East Coachella Valley were without power. And I was fearing both of those things, that we could lose water for days and lose power for days. When we got hit by a windstorm many years ago in Altadena, we were without power for 8 days. Yeah, just from a windstorm. So.
This topic came up in our agenda meeting by Peggy Baxter, and thank you, Peggy, for that. And she had a really great idea that Susan touched on a little bit, and that's maybe coming up with a kind of a database on people that have worked in the medical industry. And I just think it's a wonderful idea and it'd be a huge resource. I heard on the national news, and I'm up in Washington State right now, but you're going to be without Indian Canyon for 3 months, and that takes that hospital out of play. But having some people in the medical industry that are willing to put their name out there, that could be contacted in an emergency situation when you couldn't get EMS in. That's huge. So anyhow, Peggy, thanks for bringing that up. And I think the board's going to run with that. I think it's a great idea.
You know, the COPS program, Riverside County Sheriff's has the COPS program that we work with now currently on that side of it. For emergency response, Riverside County Fire runs the CERT program, Community Emergency Response Team. And they offer training and they offer planning and support and stuff. So I envision we've got COPS on one side, and then we would put together a community response and go through the CERT program and be associated with Riverside County Fire on the other side.
Would the club do the umbrella insurance? Because a lot of medical people won't do anything in an emergency situation because somebody says they've done something wrong and they get sued. So will the club be like doing an umbrella and saying,
That's
okay,
a good point. I mean, that's something that's worthy of investigation.
That's something that that's why we're saying, this is really at the bare beginnings. And we'll
I'm
be
just
doing
sorry I didn't ask that question.
Oh, no, that's
Makes it
fine.
rough.
We just need to, we're gonna be putting together all these.
I really hate those damn lawyers. I really do.
Like that guy was, that one.
My wife and I.
Peggy, don't we have kind of a basic, I know Ken was working on that in Neighborhood Watch at one time. I think, some of the legwork is already done with the and I know we had like manuals before. And I think Neighborhood Watch.
Yeah, I have a bunch of them in.
I think Neighborhood Watch had been pretty popular for a long period of time, as long as I've been here kind of, but as apathy runs through our club, the same people do the work and they're getting tired and they're getting older. And so you're running into not newer people or people that haven't volunteered, not coming forward for some reasons. So
Peggy, that's the whole point of what I've been talking about is at any level. We need to find ways to contact, whether it's for social or pastoral or strategic planning or any of those kinds of things. We've had a 40% turnover in membership.
So that is in the works. And so if you know of anybody or would like, we can get this going and that's definitely a front idea of ours. Then the next thing on new business is the board is proposing a change to the rules and regulations of the dress code for gentlemen. And I'm going to go ahead and read section 2, article 7, page 5, under gentlemen B, hats are permitted in the bar and lounge areas until 6 p.m. Hats are never permitted in the restaurant. We would like to change the rules and regulation to read, hats may be worn in the bar, lounge, and lakes room if these areas are not being used for overflow dining areas. Hats are never permitted in the restaurant. So we're going to make a motion on this.
Yes, I motion that we do this.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion?
Yeah, we're calling it the Jaime Amendment, right?
I know, Peggy, you'd like to say something.
Yeah.
Is this?
good afternoon. Preference of hats on or off. In the scheme of things with what is happening in the world and important issues facing MLCC, this issue is low on the bar. Hats on or off is a preference and a generational difference. Not so long ago, men removed their hats when they entered a building. The thought, I believe, when the decision was made to have hats removed at 6 p.m. or a little after, was at that hour we were moving into the dinner hour. Lights were lowered, hats removed, and the ambiance was set. A certain etiquette comes along with the game of golf and their clubhouses. Our bar is a country club bar, not a local sports bar. Thank you for letting me comment on this matter.
Thank you, Katie. Jack?
Yes, so I have a question, not knowing, is there a ladies B and the gentleman's B? Is there a reason why it's a gender specific?
Because ladies are still allowed to wear their hats.
So they're not gonna be able to wear their hats and men on.
No,
Well, that's the current rule.
That's the current rule.
Okay, so it's gonna remove the gender?
that is correct.
That is correct. There's really no, it doesn't really address, it doesn't say ladies are okay to wear hats. It just has always been gentlemen have to remove their hats. So that's the way it is.
So the question is, it's the entire membership, is your idea?
Yeah.
But this only
No.
addresses general.
No, it won't change that.
No, we won't change that.
There is no restriction.
There is
for
no
ladies, right?
restriction.
I understand that. I know. I've read it several times. Okay.
That's not fair.
Audie?
But what about Easter bonnets and all that?
I would look good in the Easter bonnet.
Yeah, I guess it's the type of, it's the distinction of what type of hats. I mean, men don't normally wear cowboy hats. Okay, I know that if I'm in Texas and I go, and even to get into an elevator, a gentleman will take off their hat, allow me to enter the elevator. That's just etiquette. My question though, I was concerned with a couple of months ago, I guess, we had a survey. I'm sorry if I'm ignorant that I didn't know what the result of that survey was.
50-50.
It was split.
Almost
It was an
50-50.
absolute dead split within a vote or two.
So coming from an older generation, if we need to transition over, because we have younger people that don't want to follow that protocol, maybe we could do it not so drastic.
Well, so
Right
there's
now,
still no hats in the restaurant, only the bar is what we're talking about.
right, but now you're incorporating more of the property. If you just left it to the bar, maybe it would be one thing. But if we're trying to attract people, I'm sorry, it's my generation, I understand that, it's me. But I wouldn't want to be around in a dinner setting to have such a casual atmosphere. I'm coming up here to the.
Well, it would never be in the restaurant.
Would be the bar.
It's
Like, we had karaoke,
Yeah,
karaoke night in the Lakes Room, Monday Night Football. in the
Monday Night
Lakes.
Football, there's gonna be.
I mean,
people
those
with
are
hats and jerseys.
events where we're trying to encourage not just Mission Lakes members, but Mountain View and Paradise Springs and the local community to come in here. And we're gonna tell people on a Friday night, come in for our karaoke night and our drink specials. And oh, you can't wear a baseball cap.
like I said, it's a generational thing.
That group is never gonna come to Mission Lakes again. And they're gonna tell everybody, oh my God, those guys are living in the 1950s or something. It's crazy.
Well,
And then, one more comment. Our rule says no hats in the restaurant. It's not just dining. It doesn't say dining. It doesn't say for dinner. It says in the restaurant. So when we come up that's not enforced that way because we come up after golf and we'll have a luncheon after golf. And we're coming up it's 110 degrees in Palm Springs in the desert. We don't have a locker room. You don't get to go take a shower real fast and comb your hair. We're coming straight in off a 100-degree golf course. And gentlemen most of them are wearing their hats. I mean, at the last luncheon we had, I did an informal survey and 70% were wearing hats. But the rule is 100% should have not been wearing hats, except for the women.
6 p.m. though.
No.
That's not the rule.
No,
Just never in the restaurant.
it's
So
never after 6 p.m. in the bar,
that
which
would mean,
seems silly to me.
that
Because
would
we
mean
shouldn't
when
be
they
putting
come
our
in on
staff
the golf course,
to coming around and telling people to remove their hats at
they
6
have to
p.m.
put their sweating
What
hats
happens,
next
like
to
what
you
we had with the eclectic.
I'd like to comment, Susan.
on the table.
Where we use this room.
Okay, Dave, just 1 second. Go ahead, Peggy.
Where we use this room, after the eclectic for a luncheon, but the Sunday brunch was going on out there, people.
Right, but the doors were open and this was considered dining.
Right, but when you're walking through the dining room to give your.
No,
food,
but this would be considered dining room.
At
In
that
that
time.
situation.
So
at that, after that golf event, the men would take their hats off.
In here,
Right.
if this
They
was
have to-
used
this
for
is
dining,
open. Right.
if this is being used for dining for that event, yes, you would have to remove your hat.
So I guess in a sense, what I'm saying is, I guess the rules of etiquette have changed.
So
Evolving to.
the reason for men removing their hats back in the day is because they came in off the trail
I'm
on
not
their
looking forward to the
horses
days. I'm
and they had dusty hats, so they took them off. That's no longer the case.
No, I'm talking about even in, you know, far back as 3 years ago when I was in Texas, you know, where I would go into an elevator and people would take
But
off.
that's where,
It was just
that's where the
southern,
history
it's
comes from.
southern etiquette. It's something that I found.
You know,
very-
2 months ago, I went to Morton's.
Yep.
And there
Well,
was
think-
5, 6 people in Morton's in the dining room with hats on, shorts on. It's just, the world has changed.
Go ahead,
That's
Dave.
what I'm saying. I guess the rules of etiquette have changed.
Yeah, to the rules of etiquette changing, you know, whether it's good or not, they have changed. We recently adopted a walking policy on the golf course. You go back 10 years ago, there wasn't a stuffy club in the country that would have allowed walking on the golf course. That's changed now. We've changed that at our club. I belong to another stuffy club, you know, not near as much fun as Mission Lakes. And they allow hats 24/7 in their lounge. And this is a highbrow stuffy club. And so if you get out, things have changed, and we are just talking about the lounge area. And I just don't think we're really giving anything up.
Well,
I'd rather see a 110-degree day. People up here with the hats on instead of throwing them on the tables with their sweat dripping down on the tables. Or we have a little hat rack there that's, you know, it's got 4 pegs. You know, come on, I'd much rather see a hat being worn than on the table or an
I'm
empty
not
chair.
questioning that because at that hour, it's before 6 o'clock. You know, it's after
Well,
6
see,
o'clock. when
what's 6 o'clock have to do with
But
anything?
again, that has nothing to do.
All trees in June. I mean, it's a timing thing. You have to draw a line at some point in time and make a decision.
This is our decision.
well, this is gonna be posted for 30 days. So it will be open for comment. And then at the end of that 30 days.
Okay.
For the vote. And, okay, is there any more discussion?
No, no.
Okay, so we have one more item. We
Was-
have had.
Susan, I think you made a motion, didn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah, oh, I'm sorry, I thought we voted. No, okay, so we made the motion. We had a second,
I'll second.
okay? Any more discussion?
Can you, what is the motion?
Okay, let me make a
The motion is
motion.
to change it or the motion is to post it?
Post it. You have to post it.
We have to.
We have to.
Well, I
post-
didn't hear that as part of
Yeah.
They were-
motion. That was.
I was motioning to change it.
The motion.
Am I gonna motion to change it or post it?
Post it.
Okay, so,
We have to post it. You're motioning that we want to change this.
okay, I would like to make a motion to post that we're gonna change the rule of, okay, I would like to make a motion to change the rules and regulation that hats have to be removed in the lounge area after 6 p.m. And to post that. I second that.
To be.
No, your motion said that hats had to be removed.
All right, let me do this again. All right, I would like to make a motion that we change section 2, article 7, page 5. Under gentleman B, that hats are permitted and worn in lounge areas until 6 p.m. All right. So I would like to motion that we post to change that.
The hat may be worn.
Hats may be worn in the bar, lounge, and like from these areas not being used for overflow dining areas.
All right, let's try this again. I would like to make a motion that we change section 2, article 7, page 5, under gentleman B. Hats are permitted in the bar and lounge areas until 6 p.m. Hats are never permitted in the restaurant. Change to be rules and regulations. Hats may be worn in the bar, lounge, and lakestream, but these areas are not being used for overflow dining areas. Hats are never permitted in the restaurant.
Second.
And my discussion thing is, I think we did that wrong I think you can say that hats are allowed in the dining areas until 4:30 PM.
No.
It's just my discussion item. I think we did it wrong.
Is there any other discussion?
Because we have a rule that is not enforced, it hasn't been enforced here in 20 years.
Well, you know, why don't we address that issue now then, Steve? And make it part of this motion, or have some discussion on that.
I mean, look, I don't have a problem with, because look, I listened to. After the last tournament, we were up here and we were having lunch. And a lot of us just came in off the golf course and 100-degree weather, everybody's all sweaty. Some of these guys did not want to remove their hats and they weren't from here. Okay, this was a charity tournament, right? And we had staff going around telling them to remove their hats, and they're like, no, my hair is a mess. I don't have a comb. I don't want to remove my hat. All right. So I'm not opposed to Steve's idea after 4:30, because typically we don't have golf tournaments where outside play is here after 4:30, right? Typically it's a 7:30 tee time and they're usually gone by 3 or whatever. So I'm not opposed to that, Steve. I think that's not a bad
If you
idea.
want to rewrite it and propose it again in the next month's meeting, and I would then indicate that for tournament. Well, lunch ish,
Because, I mean,
reasons.
he's
So that
right.
If you do have another type of event that it's not golf related, then you exclude those folks from having.
I mean, but so,
ability to
look,
wear a hat.
here's my point. It's not fair to the staff. You have to go around and tell people to remove their hats. And then to his point, some of these people that are being told to remove their hats are not gonna want to come back. Right? Because they don't have to deal with that anywhere else.
Well, they do.
I think we're really overcomplicating this thing, and I agree with
And
Steve.
it's still a 30-day discussion period.
Right.
So you can just make that change on your motion, and then if you get a second, then you can go.
I think we're trying to do everything we can to keep people here, and even if it pushes a handful of people away, it's a bad decision. I just think the hats were to say you're splitting hairs, maybe.
I agree we're splitting hairs, and I believe that
That's
4:30, if we're still honoring the 4:30 time frame for the dinner hour, that's the spirit of removing the hat in the clubhouse during dinner. And we're still honoring that tradition by making it 4:30 on, but at 6 o'clock on a Saturday morning, when I come up for a men's club breakfast and we vote, every guy in there is wearing his hat. Okay, so what? It's okay to break the rules that time. It's, when we have team play and we bring them up and we have overflow into the dining area to Jaime's point, you're gonna tell these guys from Mission Hills, sorry, there's not even a lady in the whole clubhouse, but you're gonna have to take that hat off because we got this rule. No, the spirit of the rule after 4:30, I think the spirit of the rule is still being enforced. We're honoring no hats in the clubhouse during dinner hour. And doesn't that make sense to everybody? Because it sure does to me.
If we have a rule
Should it
that
be
nobody
4 or
pays
4:30?
attention to because they don't like the rule, then why do we have the rule?
I was the executive chef at the Palms Golf Club down on the other side of PJ West. And everyone wore hats. Women wore hats, men wore hats, everybody wore hats. But if we had an evening event, out of common courtesy, nobody wore a hat. They were dressed, their hair was washed, life was good. Maybe one of their kids came in and had a hat, but the majority was hats. It's common sense.
Yeah, I agree.
4:30, wherever, after that, common sense. But nobody dresses up to get on a plane anymore either. So
Right?
times have changed.
We don't smoke on planes.
The night of your birthday dinner.
What have we decided? Because we are
I
back
say
to
we keep
square
it-
one.
I say we keep it exactly the way it is right here. 4:30.
Well, the thing is though, if you're here during the meeting, everyone is wearing hats. So it's currently happening. The rule is there, but everybody else is gonna be flexible.
That's why they're enforcing. So we've got one of their members. And so. All right, heads up.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so I would like to make a motion to amend to amend the motion that I just made. To change the rules and regulations that hats may be worn in the bar and lounge and the lake room if these areas are not being used for overflow dining areas. Hats are never going to be allowed in the dining area until, well, they will be allowed in the dining area until 4:30 p.m. Is that okay?
That works for me.
So instead of hats are never permitted in the restaurant, hats will be permitted in the
Will be
restaurant
permitted until 4:30.
until 4:30.
Right,
And at 4:30, we ring a bell and you take your hat off?
right? That's what I'm saying. This is all silly to me.
But that's what they're doing in the restaurant right now at 6:01
Yeah, 6 o'clock, the staff is coming
Telling
in.
the restaurant should be.
in the bars.
No, in the bar though.
The bar, yeah,
In the
but
bar,
that's,
they're doing that.
yeah, but this is taking that 6 o'clock away for the bar.
Agreed,
And that's
Agreed.
fine.
right.
So why
Yeah.
put 4:30 in for the restaurant? You're taking the 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
out of
here-
the bar.
So
here's the
now to
problem.
her point, I like what she said, where they can wear hats wherever, unless it's a special event.
We
I
all
like that
accept the
idea
fact
better.
that the membership wears hats in the restaurant in the morning and at lunch for golf events, okay? The reason the staff started enforcing it is not the board, not Eric saying enforce it. It's because we've had a couple of members
Right,
raise hell that the rules are not being enforced.
right.
And so that's why staff is doing it. Well, those same members are gonna raise hell if anybody comes in with a hat during the SOS ride tournament.
And that's gonna happen.
But that's
It's-
why
we're
I'm
gonna-
saying
we're
it's
gonna have
to
a
the
rule.
golf events only then, from that standpoint.
And I'm gonna wear a hat at the SOS ride, and then when you bust me, I'll resign from the board and
No,
I'll go move to
what I'm-
Bighorn.
What I'm saying is, go ahead and.
Like, why am I here?
Expand it for golf events only.
Can we fight about
Well,
something?
we've had discussion.
with the hat?
We voted.
Well, I've been bitching about this for 25, 30 years, so.
Okay, all right, so
All right.
Sam, what would you like to say? And then we're ending this discussion.
I,
I second what Jaime motioned
In the beginning or the other?
in the beginning.
Oh,
I don't think 4:30, people, look at. It is the most ridiculous thing we're bitching.
I agree 100%.
So hats are permitted, to me, hats should be permitted in the bar, in here, except for the restaurant where we have our fine dining. Hats can be anywhere on the premises, except for there. Okay, it just makes sense.
So you need to support the second motion then, Sam. We can't
Yeah, if you're
reverse.
having a golf tournament, if you're having a golf tournament, hats are expected.
Yes, so you're supporting. the
We need to
second.
vote on the second motion, not the first. The first one's been voted on. It's been amended. We need to vote on the second motion.
Just don't make a time frame, just
No
no time frame, just.
Amend your motion to not have a time frame.
Okay. All
Can somebody write it down?
right, let's try this again. No, I'm winging it again. All right. I would
Wait,
like to amend this.
before we
Go
go
ahead,
with a third motion, what you're gonna, I'm not in favor of taking the entire time frame off. That dining room needs to be hat-free during dining hours. That's what I'm agreeing to. And it sounds
Dinner.
like that's what a lot of the membership wants.
Are we going for dinner or lunch?
No, there was no reason that 4:30 period wouldn't have floated. I don't know why we don't go with that motion. And then we honor the spirit of the hats being off during dinner hour.
I agree with that.
Ken?
I would like to make a motion that the board get back together at some other point in time, because I see a lot of confusion between everybody.
Oh,
What they
we got
want.
something to vote on.
We're sitting here listening to all of this.
That's why, that's why it's posted
I
for
don't
30
understand.
days, so that
But we're amending it.
comments.
And it's-
Yeah, and
You know what,
Ken,
we were pretty
the board
clear
doesn't
before
have the
we had that.
latitude to have these discussions in closed sessions. We have to make sausage when you're in the room. That's how our rules are set up. So,
We
you know,
don't meet
it
someplace.
it may seem a little dislocated, but this is the proper way
Your
to talk about
California
these things.
legislature is protecting you by not allowing us to talk.
Yeah, we
Step in
can't
front
make
of you.
this, we can't make this decision in executive session.
No, sir, I don't think that was his point. I think Ken's point is to amend the rules to be what the board will support, then present it to us again.
With this.
Let's vote. Present three options.
And just no.
We've got a motion. Are we gonna vote on the motion we got?
Yes,
Yes, and the amended motion is no hats on in the dining room after 4:30 P.M.
Correct.
For that,
I'm
yes,
fine
and
with
the
that.
bar
I'm good with that. Always welcome in the bar and in the lakes room.
Unless it's a.
Unless it's open.
unless it's
Right,
you being used for
got it.
dinner.
All
Okay.
right, cool. That's
All
my
right.
motion. Vote.
Second.
Second, we got a second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now, this will go on the board for 30 days. And that gives a chance the membership to cajole and convince a board member to raise an objection to that and vote to overturn it at the next meeting.
It did.
And if that happens, then we can't readdress that issue for some period of time. That's
Okay, so is there any nays? The motion stands. And it will go on the board, just as Steve said, and if someone brings up one of the board members decides in 30 days that they would like to readdress this issue, then it will come back.
And then we'll have a public arm wrestling with Jaime.
No, I got it.
Okay, so the last thing that we have for new business is we have to approve a new secretary. Our present secretary, Dennis Perry, has resigned from the position. Only the position, not the board, but the position of secretary. So I need to have a motion for the new secretary.
I would like to make a motion to approve Sam Lancaster or nominate Sam Lancaster as secretary.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion?
Thanks,
All
Sam.
those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any nays?
I still owe you the drink.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Sam.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that we have
Everything's gonna be in
Motion to adjourn that meeting.
motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second,
Bingo. All those in favor?
aye.
Motion to adjourn.
I
Done.
have an expert witness to that.
Pick a number.
Come into the next.
Oh, we need.
Number.
Pick a number.
13.
What number did I pick? There was no numbers on here. I put numbers on it.
Out of how many?
13.
47.
Doesn't matter.
47.
Oh,
Nothing higher than 20.
Oh, now the rules.
Six. Okay. Say Ray, Andrew. Ray, I don't know how to pronounce your last name, Andrew.
Thank you, Susan.
thank you.
There you go.
Past presidents can't win.
Says who? I put numbers on it because there were no numbers. And I'm gonna ask you guys.
Hey, Ray.
Ray, come get
You
me.
want to buy a drink from the room?
Or I will make up another one.
Can you tell her?
No, you do.
How about we just stop there? Make one up, don't send it to that. And then
They got no response from anybody. We had to go to bed and we put one. In.
Yeah, but we still need to see it.
It's not.
Yeah. Get it.
Getting these. Just right. Certain people open the newsletter and only 100 people respond to them. Just doesn't make sense. Is it the same?
It's the same.
From the survey and
It was on the same
If you
email.
had any more hair, it got me forward.
Which you should know.
yes.
You should know that it was on the same email.
I know it's the same email, but like just to give an example, my wife doesn't. When you opt in or out of the meeting, some of them are advertising.
If they're opted out, they don't even get counted. Because it doesn't go from constant contact. If you opt out in constant contact, you never even receive it.
Okay. Okay.
And that's, that's right. Yeah.
So like, I think start getting.
Yes, he is. I can see that.
I'm just asking, this is Dennis, I'm just asking if executive session is happening, and if so, have I been put on mute or am I disconnected?
Dave, I'll check this.
So Aaron,